a couple technical difficulties here, Shift Nation. So sorry for the delay a little bit, but we are here with my man McGuire. McGuire, thanks for joining me today. How are you doing, sir?
Oh man, terrific! Everything's fantastic. No complaints. Running on a full belly this week, so everything's good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is fantastic. We're going to talk about that. So we already got a bunch of people watching. I'm excited to talk with you. You actually gave us a little sneak peek. Came in our private shift group coaching last month now. We're December already. Gave us a little snippet of what you've been doing, what you've been up to. I thought it'd be great to share with all the Shift Nation, just to kind of explain what you're doing, how you're finding success. I mean, you're finding some really cool success, things that we really want to share with everybody. One of the things that I know we want to talk about too in this teardown, I think if everyone, if we go through this, we want to learn a little bit about McGuire, talk about what he's doing, and then we're going to share some takeaways to improve even what he's doing on top of the success he's having. So, McGuire, first, man, tell us what you were doing pre-advisors, pre-shift.
Alrighty, so cold calling like a dog every day, man. I was I had a very specific niche and I still work with them on time to time, but I was working with farriers. Basically, they just shoot horses. They great blue car work, make great money. Very hard to get a hold of them and consistently keep my appointment book full was one of the biggest dilemma. And if anyone's been in this business, you understand that time, you got to make the best of all the time because it's limited. So I saw the need. Like I said, I was only 2 years into this business. Doing all the old school ways. I kind of took up like a Gary Vee mentality, and that's how I saw LinkedIn. I must have been on a Tom Hegna just video one day, and you guys were doing some advertising. I knew I wanted to head in the direction towards social media. I've seen the power of how can connect people. So I was like, I'm not producing as much as I want to. We got to make something that game changing to increase my numbers so I can stay in this business for long. And then I met with Mike Wilson, and then he showed me just kind of the coaching and the rundown of it. And from there, from launch to today, if I didn't do this, I definitely would be in a much tougher area than I am now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That whole thing was pretty cool. I think when you talked to you at their national conference, like Oklahoma or something.
Yeah, doing old school marketing right there.
So when did you become acquainted with advisors? When did we come into the picture for you?
Yeah, so it had to be. I remember launching my first campaign, I think back in June. Very new to it. Only running two campaigns. Really, where I saw the growth and acceleration and people coming on the books was kind of after that 90-day mark. And then after that, I was like, okay, so I'm a big analytical guy, so I like the stats, and stats make sense to me. So I took the 90-day mark, had some good meetings, but nothing really fluid, nothing very consistent. Well, consistent, but not to compare to where I am now. So after the 90 days, you always hear me talking about Gary Vee and like TikTok and Instagram, all these short video clips. And I wanted to somehow create a like organic stream where people can come to my LinkedIn and generate a knowledge or just get accredited with me. And I really believe there's a big thing. Like, I don't know if you go onto Facebook or Instagram, but you see how many likes somebody gets, and it's like contagious. It's almost without like it's a habit just to keep going. And not a habit, but to like it. So I think that was a very influential idea. That's kind of I started to build a lot of my videos around. So that's kind of a little rundown right there. Sorry, go on these little tangents.
No, that's really good, man. I think that's one of the unique things that you're doing is that you're actually, we use the word contagion contest and advisors content. Anyone that's interested, because talk with advisors.com, you talk to someone about that and kind of hack the system here of what McGuire has been doing. You said something, a couple things to me in private conversations, and even on this call, you use the word game changer. I always thought that was interesting when you say that, because I had this kind of old school model, right? Working with the Farriers Association, making calls, just working hard, grinding. And then you happened upon us, and you went into this new kind of phase in what you're doing. That's a similar story to mine. That's why I identify with it so much. But I think one of the things that you really have done is taking technology. It might be an age thing, right? You're a little younger, newer in the business, a little hungry. But you really started, and explain what you actually do. You're doing big production. You got this big studio that you're doing all these videos and lots of content. Or what are you doing?
Yeah, so I actually just launched I'm doing every Tuesday another video, just kind of like a huge Tuesday takeaway. Whether that is finance related, but mostly it has to do with the Federal Reserve. So obviously we had Jerome Powell speak yesterday at a conference, talked about inflation. What do you think about the rates? So I felt like that is pretty great informative information. And then Thursday I do more videos just on about, maybe a safe withdrawal rate, just like I try to keep them under 5 minutes. So I added 2 new segments, whether that's just videos and just getting good information out there, or even if it's like a 30-second, I was at the conference, took out my smartphone and just was like, hey, I'm happy to be here, meeting amazing people. And, that seemed to do very well. A lot of people liked it. And it goes back to, is it the habit when you see something that other people are liking, you kind of want to be involved in it. So it makes my credibility definitely go up on the page. It's, if you look at like cold calling, anybody can, like, I'm really great on the phone, I think. But what separates LinkedIn versus the cold call is I'm not hiding behind something on the phone. No one knows really who I am, what I look like. Whereas now I'm presenting everything. Hey, this is what you get. So definitely videos, posting, and just I spoke a little bit about the FTX, and it was like, look, we have regulation in this industry where we can't even use celebrity endorsements. So like, just providing that information, helping people understand what kind of separates, just putting everything out there, to be honest.
And I think the thing that's cool, kind of, I think for everyone watching, you're just purposing content, right? Things that are happening in the industry, in the economy, in the world that affect our clients. You're just repurposing that and talking, taking that information, making it your own, giving your opinion on it. Less than 5 minutes. You said most around 3 minutes. How are you doing that? Do you have a big production, a team that's recording this, or what are you doing?
Okay, so very early, because this idea came on to me about maybe 2 months ago. So I always wanted to start a podcast, maybe in college. So I had this cool golden mic. So I like to keep it there because I think it looks extensive. But anyways, I right now what I'm doing is pretty basic. I just record, or I start my own Zoom meeting with myself, and then just record on the Zoom meeting, and then share my screen. And most of these I'll do within, I don't cut, I don't edit. If I feel like the video's gone bad, then I'll redo everything, and then it usually takes me about 2 to 3 tries. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting pretty good traction off these videos. I have clients coming up to me saying they love my videos and they love just learning. And so I'm thinking maybe, better camera, maybe editing, maybe putting in subtitles. So that's the areas kind of investing in now, is a better camera for these videos, editing and production.
So, so McGuire, are you broadcasting this inside of your LinkedIn and your YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, I am. Actually, I'm all about just creating crazy PR, man. Just being super active. I like content.
Right.
It drives views to our page. So
okay, all right. We need to stop here for a moment. The people that are watching, do we learn in the last 30 seconds? All right, stick the video here. Right, shut the front door. That easy. It's just repurposed. I mean, it's brilliant, right? You took the time to do this. I didn't know you could do it. So, and I do these things often. So, kudos to that. Now I know. He's broadcasting on his LinkedIn. I saw another comment you're doing on your YouTube. Awesome. It's going to live in perpetuity now. And it's not hard. He's using Zoom and recording it. So, I mean, what is hard? Let's say it's not hard, but what is hard is the consistency, the persistency, the dedication to doing it and taking the time. So I think that's awesome, right, McGuire? Like that's what the difference here. You're taking action and seeing results from it. So everyone got those golden nuggets there because this is good stuff. I know we were a little bit late coming in and everything, so let's give some McGuire some love for joining us. He doesn't have to do this. He's sharing his secrets, sharing the things that he's doing that's work. So give him some love. See lots of great comments already coming in. So keep them coming, Shift Nation. All right, let's get back to content for a moment. So I think this is the thing I see a lot of people make mistakes on. The first mistake is spending too much time creating it. All right, and especially perfecting it. Like they spend all this time on it, and for what end? It's just when you see how simple you can do it. It's more about the timeliness of it than necessarily the production value, right? Or perfectly scripted it is. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you get the best content in the world, but if you don't have eyeballs there to see it, it's no good.
Exactly.
So I think one of the interesting things that we've talked about is how the program kind of accelerated and then allowed you to utilize your perspective to really get it out to the masses.
Yeah. And I'll just chip out away on the first one. Okay, I'm not a perfectionist. Some of my videos, like I posted one on Tuesday for my first one, and I think it got like 2 likes. Okay, I really don't care if it got 2 likes or anything, but I can look at the analytics on that video and see how many minutes or people viewed it. It's just my dad was an expert sales guy. He's a software, runs his own software company, and all we're trying to do is plant seeds. And these videos allow for those seeds to grow. We talked about this earlier, Chris, that the one thing where I think I'll see the most organic growth using advisors and the videos is by growing my connections. So if I have a huge influence and huge connections, then I can go back and do a first degree campaign. And I think that, I'm really excited because I'm not going to launch it until I have at least 3,000 to 4,000 connections. And then we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. So the question I have, which is my curiosity here, is you seem to be a pretty technology savvy person, marketing savvy. What did our program do to help you there? I'm interested, and maybe this is not I don't know where this is going to go. Maybe nothing, but I hope it did. But it's interesting to see like how you're able to put what you were doing kind of and just put it out there to the world, but it's taken off. So I'm wondering what we kind of added to that mix to really get you far.
I'll put it like this. You guys created the highway, and then I'm just the billboard sitting upon it, You're driving the drivers to my page, and then I'm just the big billboard. Obviously the messaging is and the software is unbelievable. The fact that I can just go on my computer in the morning, take out 2 hours, and just start responding and actually connecting with people is crazy. I would use that highway analogy.
I love that, and I always you've done 80% of the work. The other 20 is up to you, and you've taken that and run with it, which is tremendous. So got a couple. Let me address some of these questions here. Stacy, I hope my audio is on. Manny's checking me, said I'm good. So I don't know, but I think my audio is good. But anyone else, let me know if any problems. But we tested that. That should be good there. McGuire, are you doing all your content? Are you doing any posting or texts or pictures or just all video?
So I'm a big fan of video, man. What you see is what you get. I feel like I'll do a couple polls and I'll ask my followers, hey, what do you guys want to learn about? And there's been a couple times where people are like, McGuire, talk about quantitative easing. Okay, make a quick 5-minute video on that, trying to illustrate a lot of my time in the office is not just like responding and messaging, but it's actually doing research on these topics. So I'm delivering factual. The last thing I want to be known for is if someone's like, that's all BS. So a lot of it is research. I spend a good amount of time researching, and then
So All right, so I'm a little delayed, so sorry. Yeah, sorry everybody, but hopefully it's all right. And then Kirk, this will be on YouTube in perpetuity, so you'll be able to catch us anytime on there as well. So again, give McGuire some love. Appreciate him joining us. Guess we're on shipwithadvisors.com. McGuire, I think kind of the next thing I think is kind of interesting in what in all of this is you said something to me that you're getting people signing up for appointments without even. And I think your videos do something in the realm of credibility, right? You're becoming an expert to the people that are watching you and listening. You're creating a following. I'm sure the people are watching more than one video. They're checking you out and what you're doing. Have you seen or had any experience with that where you're kind of building a following and creating that expert level of content that you're doing?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm at the point now where I'm not getting I'll have people respond to me, of course, which is great, but now they're just jumping on the calendar without even responding to my LinkedIn messages. Yes, I do believe the videos add a tremendous amount of credibility, but the data that you get from just the analytics that LinkedIn gives you, like I had a person from Texas I've never met, and he's just an avid follower. Where I'm like, how many more people can I attract like this and run campaigns at them? So I think building this following is definitely wanting, like it's all about credibility, especially in finance. Like FTX and all that stuff just blew up, so it kind of hurts our business when anything, fraudulent happens in the system. So I think as advisors and as people, we just need to be authentic and put the videos allow for our authenticity to shine through.
So I want to show you. I'm going to share my screen. Authenticity is a big part of that. Your personality is obviously you're doing on camera on video, and you're well spoken, well thought. So that's something important as well. But I want to share. Make sure I'm on the right screen here. So, okay, you guys should be seeing my screen. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
So, all right, awesome. So you can see here he's broadcasting. Awesome. So you guys can take a lesson there. The profile. You see his title on uncommon. I just want to point this out. When you see that, what's your first thought? What's uncommon about what you do, right? There's automatically, you're already creating a question. You're like, what are you doing that I don't know about? Which is awesome. And you see it's advising tech business owners on W2s on tactics and efficient investment strategy, retirement while protecting your income. All right, so great. So that's all great. Here's what I want to draw everyone's attention to. I want you guys to look at your LinkedIn profile, and if you wouldn't mind sharing in the comments here, because I'd be interested. You have almost 2,000 followers on LinkedIn here, McGuire. Did you know that?
Yeah,
you
1,000 was what advisors gave me. About 1,065.
1,065. So you knew exactly. That's awesome. So, are you seeing that accelerate at all?
Oh,
like kind of snowball? Yeah.
It is snowballing, unbelievable. I wake up in the morning, I'll have 5 connections. By noon, I'll have like another 5. And this goes back to, when people like content and they they post the like button, for some reason, there's just like this contagious effect that they want to join. I don't know what it is, but I'm a big believer on that. So like when someone comes to probably my page in a couple of years and there's like 5,000, it just, that credibility, it's just building up,
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. That's awesome. So you said you had 2,000. I got to refresh it. You're already gaining followers, or she's the mother of 2,000.
Right on.
All right. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let me answer some more questions here. We got a lot of questions for you, man. This is appreciate you doing this. We're getting a lot of questions, which is always a good sign for our group here. Sticky calendar. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, Lena. So how do you pick your content, McGuire? I think you talked a little bit about it. If you want to go a little more depth, are you using Answer to the Public, or you Google, or how do you determine that?
No, so I love finance. I really do. Before I got into this business, I was going to take, of course, like a Wall Street IB side type of job. Um, but so this kind of gets back into my history. I love learning about what happened in 2008, how the Federal Reserve acts, all this quantitative easing, and a lot of it is books. I like Jim Rickards, Naomi Pierce, and then a couple of there's this analyst called Jeff Snyder who's on Wall Street. So these are like three areas where I gather information from. Um, so usually I'll dig in to see what the Fed's doing. I don't even know if you guys knew this, but the Fed actually this week launched its first digital asset, and they call it an improvement upon the ledger system that's currently in place. So, like, if I transfer money to you, it's basically the same thing, but now they have more ledgers to keep track. So that's the content I like to go into. I do post a lot of stuff on whether it's like credit default swaps or something that's going on within the big banks, how they're lending. So the banks this week loaded a crap ton of debt, got rid of all their junk bonds, sold it. So these are areas where I think are flags that people should be aware of, how the banks act, how the Fed's moving, and just basically kind of warning signs. I posted about Credit Suisse probably about 3-4 months ago, just telling my viewers that look at the credit default swaps on Credit Suisse right now. They're the highest since 2008. If something is telling you there's a big red flag, then I think that's information that we have to put out there, and then dissecting it for people to understand what is a credit default swap, and basically articulate that is really important to me. And just for some stuff, a lot of the crazy financial stuff gets pushed underneath, and if we can, just really articulate and dive deep and help people address these warning signs, that's really where I'm happy, because I just want people to be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, like, I'm looking at, I Market Watch is what I go to every morning usually. And the first headline on Market Watch is, here's what history says about the stock market, how the stock market will perform in December. You don't think people are going to be interested in, like, it's everywhere. Content's everywhere. And, like, we're just repurposing. We're talking about what's going on. So that whatever you use, whatever you watch, I think the key here is, Brian, you're constant and never-ending improvement, right? That's a core value that we have here at Advisors, constant, never-ending improvement. You're trying to improve. You're trying to learn about your industry, trying to see how it's going to affect your clients, and you're sharing that with the people around you, which that's the work we got to put into it, right? Things don't come easy. There's no magic bullet for any of us. So you putting in that work consistently and persistently is the secret sauce, in my opinion, here. And there's we've interviewed a lot of successful advisors in this teardown session that we do. Not everyone does it the same, but they have success. So again, I think it's just finding something that works for you and being consistent and persistent and making sure that you're doing it. So kudos to you. Let's dive in. I know a lot of people are wondering how your successes and numbers and stuff. So talk about us a little bit beforehand. How many appointments? First, I want to know how many positive responses, right? Like leads, how many interested people have in a week coming in right now?
So consistently, I would say on average, I get 2 new scenes. I actually got 3 to 4 new scenes this week alone. 2 to 3 seems to be that line that's constantly parallel throughout the month. Now, sometimes if I want to see or create more, like if I had a really good video or something, I'll increase my connections for the week. I may run out of in-mails for the month, but it's just like, I mess around with the settings a little bit too.
Yeah. And so some of these terms with those that's advisors.com. Talk to one of our coaches, get you acquainted with all that stuff. So you told me on average you get about 10 what we call like positive responses opportunities a week, which is like 40 a month. And then you're getting that 8 to 12 appointment coming from it, and you're starting to set snowballs. Well, that's improving for you. So that's tremendous.
And
this
just
is really interesting.
Kind of piggyback. I just wanted to say, to piggyback off your idea, I haven't had a blank calendar in 6 months.
Yeah. And I think what my question is to piggyback that is, what percentage of your appointments when they set it, stick with that.
Okay, so so in the beginning, it was getting people to take meetings and consistently stay on top of it was one of the first hurdles I had to overcome. So I started making individual videos after they jumped on my calendar and just be like, "Hey, so and so, thanks for
Yeah.
stopping in." And I post this to my YouTube and I send that link to them and just again, I want to make them feel bad if they blow me off because I'm putting all this time. I made a customized video for them. And then, of course, you have Calendly, the integration of just like text notifications. So after I started doing the videos, the text notifications, and then having our office manager call them to make sure they would confirm, I haven't had a no-show in this month. I haven't had a no-show this month.
All right, so that's 100%. All right, so Dana, back to your question. This is what we're talking about, right? Creating that follow-up structure to make sure you're confirming appointments, taking the time. How long does it take you to record that video and sending it on YouTube?
Again, just recording a Zoom video, downloading the link, and sharing it on YouTube. And I have like an intro video.
How long is it?
Oh, that intro video? About 10, maybe 30 minutes to start it. And then now I have this formula that makes it really easy. So about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. That's all right.
Of
Get
me
100% show rate. So these are all. Yeah. So I hope you guys are all writing these things down. These are golden nuggets that you can use today and start implementing. Awesome. McGuire, tell us what your sales are and your pipeline.
Yeah. So obviously October was my best month I've ever had as an advisor. All those came from Advisorists. This month I have two very unique, I think, really fantastic business owners. Just depending if we can get it, they're on the books for now, but we'll see where it all says and done. Of course, there's a lot of other things that factor time, whether they can make it happen right now. So in the pipeline, roughly, I would say about hopefully to end this December with 15, 20.
That's awesome. All right. Already done about that. You already paid for the program.
Yeah, October was my best month. All advisors.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's just, and again, that snowball effect. You're starting to get some. So share a little bit about the toy show. I thought that was an awesome story.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I must have broke up. I was asking you to share a little bit about the manufacturer. Right? It's a big for you.
Sorry, what was that, Chris?
Yeah. I was asking you about that toy manufacturer.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a really cool guy I met. He actually is a very successful business owner, does business across seas, Europe, and all this other stuff. But I want to highlight one of the key takeaways. He goes, McGuire, the only reason why I took a meeting with you is because I found your content to be educational, and I want to learn more. And he took a meeting off of that. Then he followed up a second time, was like, McGuire, I love your video content. Things are a little hectic right now. And then it comes into just the advisor side that I got to do my part. Advisors brought me the lead. He loves the content. Now I just got to fulfill my back end and show him what makes us so special, whether that's the finance nitty gritty stuff. So the finance nitty gritty stuff, I'm working with him. I have multiple associates on this case with me because it was just something that was too big for me to handle. But there are very successful people on LinkedIn, and this guy's 55, and I've always had this insecurity because of my age that I couldn't be able to talk to him. But it was one of the most it helped me knowing that this guy really valued what I was putting out there, and the reason that he took a meeting was to learn more. And that's when I was like, all right, I got to go full blown, start to putting more content, because this is the people I'm attracting. That's exactly who I want to do business with. So we'll see by end of December if he becomes a client. Hopefully he does, and we'll see. Oh, shoot, you're breaking up, Chris. I can't hear you. Is that me? No, I can't hear you. Maybe put it in the chat right now. I don't know. Yeah, your audio is out of here. Maybe I can run it for you in the meantime. No, you're good. Okay. So I guess in the meantime, we'll just kind of talk a little bit. Kind of until Chris gets this video back. But kind of piggybacking off of the guy who had the toy manufacturing, you get this snowball effect, and the snowball effect is really empowering when other people give you that credibility, and that's why I advise everyone to just post great content. So that's just kind of my note there for the time being. Oh, if anyone wants questions right now, I'd be happy to answer them. So I don't know. I'd say for creating a sticky calendar is more in the lines of in my business and how I apply it. Is of course you have to have beginning step, which is great messaging. I use Grammarly. I buy premium because it gives you just better words to put in place there. But I really try to step or take the template that Advisors gets you, and I really built off of that. Whether it was adding some kind of just key verbs and all that stuff, but I really believe it comes from having a really sound message, and then the message kind of leads into, okay, this guy's sending me a message. Let's see a little bit more about him. And when you get into that, of course, you go to the videos, and I believe that really helps. So kind of on that. That's how the sticky calendar works. I believe is good content, having a really fantastic message that's not overbearing. And even I'll add a little bit on my messages is in Advisors, you have those basically templates or keys that say, first name. And I started to use those and built that in so it comes off more personal. Hey, so and so. I'll give you an example. Hey, first name, nice meeting you, so and so. Saw that you've been a part of Microsoft for X, Y, and Z for how many years, and so adding those kind of key terms make it a little more personal. Okay.
Back.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, am I back?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, I got kicked out. I lost everything here. Now I got my green screen. There we go. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on over here. Thanks for the wire. I know you can handle that with skills. So doing that. Sorry, everybody, for the technical problem.
Another video.
All right. All right. Well, let's just let's close out here, McGuire. If you want to just, I know you shared a couple last thoughts. Do you have a last thought for everybody to kind of take and be, take this and be successful and implement what they're doing?
I'll give you my best steps. Empowering messaging, if we can make that as personal, and I know I was talking about this before you jumped on, Chris, but using those key words like the first name, business, how long they've been in the business, that really just improves your messages and it comes off more personal. Remember, millions of people get these LinkedIn messages every day, so we need to be a little bit different. Two, Advisors, like I said, is the highway. They're gonna draw people to your page. So posting good content, putting yourself out there and really showing who you are is just going to help the credibility already in an area where a lot of people are intimidated by finance and have a lot of distrust towards it. So the messaging, of course, content driving to the page. And third one I would always say is just once you get that person in the book, make sure that you constantly kind of bombard them, make them feel bad if they no show you. Just say, what, you put in all this time. So I like to keep those kind of three things to make it go.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, McGuire. I appreciate it. It's been awesome. Lots of great information. If you want to learn more from your highway, as McGuire put it, hit us up at meetwithadvisors.com. I would love to chat with you, talk to one of our coaches there. And McGuire, for those listening, I know I got a comment here too. You're doing what kind of products you're doing? You're doing life, you're doing AUM. advisory,
Yeah, so
planning? What are you doing?
So I always open it up. My messaging is, are you aware that your 401k could be taxed at any rate? And that's kind of the open-end question in my message. We are a full-service financial firm, so everyone, we do anything from life, health insurance, assets under management, mortgages. I have a great team around me that allows us to be a one-stop shop.
Awesome. All right. Well, sorry for the technical problems, everybody, but I've been with us and lots of great information from McGuire. McGuire, appreciate it, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. Bye-bye.